In the first 3 nights, we spoke about understanding ourselves. We spoke about understanding perfection and understanding religion. Tonight, we're going to speak about Allah Azza wa Jal and understanding Allah Ta'ala. And to start off, I will use the words of Imam Ali alayhi salam in Nahj al-Balagha. He says, alayhi afdalu salatu wassalam, أول الدين, because this is where we finished and ended, religion. أول الدين معرفته. The foremost in religion is the acknowledgement of Him. The very first step, the very first thing is to know Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why we're going to talk about Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب. The problem is that we think we know Allah Azza wa Jal, and we know at-Tawheed, and we know everything that we should know. We think Tawheed is something that we take in Islamic school on Sundays for kids. Just like روح حضر Tawheed, it's okay. Like they learn about Usul al-Din, Tawheed, Adl, Nubuwa, Imamah, Ma'ad. What's Tawheed? La ilaha illallah. La habibi. Tawheed is the end line. If we really, truly understand Tawheed, if we truly understand what Allah Azza wa Jal is and His attributes, then we understood all of religion. Then we understood all of Islam. Then we understood everything. And you will see throughout the next nights, when we talk about shaitan, when we talk about nubuwa, when we talk about imamah, that we will always, even hereafter or raj'ah, we will always go back to Allah Azza wa Jal and to see, to identify what He actually is and His attributes for everything else to make sense. Yani at-Tawheed is everything. At-Tawheed is the final destination. It is the beginning and the ending. We need a proper understanding of Allah Azza wa Jal in order for everything else to make sense. Okay, and throughout the next nights, you will know more and more what I mean, and I will highlight the importance of Tawheed, especially when we speak about Nubuwa and Imamah and everything else. But Tawheed is not just La ilaha illallah, yalla, let's move on. La ilaha illallah has many secrets, but not the meaning that we understand. Bas hal-ad, just 2 words, وخلصت القصة. La. Tawheed is way deeper than this. And that's why tonight we are going to talk about 2 points, 2 main points. The first one is the meaning of the word Allah, and the second one is I will provide a proof for His existence. And from there, we'll take 4 consequences. And that's it. Yani as simple as that. What does the word Allah mean? Then I will share a proof, and we will take 4 consequences based on that proof, and that's it. Haydi al-khutta, haydi al-kharita for tonight. Okay? And I will start off with the first one. What does the word Allah mean? Since we use it every single day, multiple times, okay? So many times. If we want to enter a house, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, okay? If a tragedy happens, Ya Allah, what's going on? If we want to pray, Allahu Akbar, Subhanallah, MashaAllah, kil shay. We use this word so often. But what does it actually mean? Because we think Allah just means, that's the word for the Creator. But Allah, the Creator is Al-Khaliq. We read in the Quran, Allah describes Himself, Allahul Khaliqul Musawwir, Allah the Creator. What does the word Allah mean? And that's something that we have implemented. We just follow without questioning. We just say things without knowing their meaning, right? I see this so many times. I don't know why, but when somebody prays or does a deed, how we say afterwards, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهِ, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهِ. Like, it's 2 words, تَقَبَّلَ اللَّهِ. It's a prayer. Yani, may Allah accept your deeds. I hear so many Lebanese people often say something like Abbalallah or Abbalallah, something like this. And they just hear the sound and they just try to repeat it. طب خيي ask, what does it mean? What's Abbalallah? What's that? It doesn't make sense. طيب, so we should question things and understand them properly before we say them or we do them. طيب, so same thing when it comes to the word Allah. What does it actually mean? If we look at the linguists and what they say, they have three different opinions. Okay? I will share one with you آخر شيء. I will share all three طبعا, but one is the accepted one in my opinion. If you want to follow me on this one, you can. If you choose something else, Bismillah. طيب, they have three opinions on what the word Allah means. The first one is they say, and by the way, just a disclaimer on the side, this lecture is probably the hardest one to follow. Okay, but try as much as you can to actually follow it, to understand everything, especially the proof. And if you want to take notes, if you want to re-watch the stream, شو ما بدكن, I'm good, بس try, and I will بعد شوي make sure that I tell you إنه هلا هون focus, these 5 minutes, full attention يعني, so you can follow me. طيب, هلا when it comes to the word of Allah and what it means, one opinion says that the word Allah is derived from the word huwa. Huwa. Ha and waw. Okay? And then there was lam al-mulk added to this in the beginning. So شو صارت? لهوة. Lam al-mulk is just like when you say هذا البيت لعلي. Okay? This house belongs to Ali. This لعلي, this lam is lam al-mulk, lam al-ownership, lam al-possession. شو ما بدكم سموها, okay? When we say alhamdulillah, we say praise belongs to Allah. Lam al-mulk. So we added lam, so it became lahua. And then they removed the waw آخر شيء, so it became lahu. And then they added alif lam in the beginning, okay? للتعظيم, okay? And then it became Allahu. This is one opinion that linguists have. So Allah in its origin is actually huwa, but we added lam al-mulk and we removed the waw and then we added another alif and lam in the beginning, so it became Allah. This is one opinion. Another opinion is that Allah, the word, is independent. It's not derived from anything. It was just put in the dictionary. Okay, just like that. Just like the word ba'albak. The word ba'albak is not derived from anything. It was just put like that. يعني مثلا هلا in Iran they have a drink, they made a drink, اسمه Delister. Just somebody came and said, you know what, we are going to name this Delister. So they say that the word Allah doesn't come from any other word, it's not derived from anything, it was just put there, and they said Allah means the creator that has these attributes, كل شيء, that we refer to as Allah. We call it Allah. The third opinion, and the one that we are going to take and accept, and I'll tell you why, is this. Allahu is derived from the root and from the word at-ta'alluh. At-ta'alluh, which means confusion. At-ta'alluh in Arabic language means confusion. And they say that the word Allah is derived from the verb at-ta'alluh, which means confusion. طيب. And we say, and I say, that we take this opinion, and we accept this opinion. Why? Because there's a narration from Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, in which he explains the meaning of Allah and what it actually means, and he says that it is coming from the word at-ta'alluh, in the sense of confusion. And I will explain بعد شوي why confusion and what it actually means. When we say Allah, what does that mean? He is the confuser, يعني هيك. هلا we'll see. The narration says, on behalf of Imam al-Baqir alayhi salam, Sheikh al-Saduq has it in his book At-Tawheed, page 331, if somebody wants to look it up. He says, Allah ma'nahu, okay, al-ma'bud الذي أله الخلق عن درك ماهيته والإحاطة بكيفيته. So in English, and I'm going to repeat it twice, Allah means that He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the worshipped one, who confuses creation in its perception of His being. I'm going to say it again. Allah means that He, subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the worshipped one who confuses creation in its perception of His being. طيب. So technically, Allah Azza wa Jal, if I want to put it or say it or repeat it in my own words, Allah Ta'ala, this word, Allah, means the confuser. Why? Because creation, which is us, we are not able to really fully understand what Allah Azza wa Jal is. You know, your kids ask, what is Allah? What is He? Is He a light? No, He's not. Is He like a ghost? What is He? We will never be able to know what He actually is. Even though He describes Himself in the Quran, Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. But He's not light the way we understand light and nur. Okay? He's not something that is a lantern that has some light. No, He's not. We will not be able to understand what He actually is. Why? Because we are limited and He is the unlimited. How can the limited understand the unlimited? And aslan, it's not our job to know what Allah Azza wa Jal exactly is. He is something beyond our imagination. Anything that comes to your head that could be an explanation of His existence, of His essence, and what He is wrong. Because we are limited, and Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited. Okay? It's like using an old software on a new product. ما بتزبط. خلاص, it's different levels. We are limited, Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited. So, as much as you would like to understand what He is, you will not be able. So, this aligns perfectly with the narration that the Imam is saying. The creation is confused in its perception of Allah Azza wa Jal. Aslan, Imam Ali says, don't even think about the existence or the essence of Allah Azza wa Jal, what He is. He says, don't think. لا تتفكروا في ذات الله. Don't even try, because He's unlimited. You will not be able to understand what He is, because He's unlimited and we are limited, and there's no way the limited is able to understand the unlimited. Because if you want to understand it, that means that you have it all like inside of you. You understood it all. You know all the edges. You know the beginning and the ending. And Allah Azza wa Jal doesn't have a beginning and the ending. So every time you say Allah, that means He's the confuser, in a sense that the creation is confused in understanding His essence and His reality. This is what it means. This is what Allah means. Wa alaikum salam, Shaykhna. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So even if the word Allah confused linguists to the real meaning of it, how can His existence, His real existence, not confuse us? We will not be able to understand what He is, and there's no benefit anyway in knowing what He is made of. He is tajarrud mutlaq. He is abstractness, full abstractness. So the word Allah in conclusion means the one that confuses His creation in His perception. طيب. And then we find in some Islamic books, even though it is not really backed up with a reliable source, but it is present in our books, a dua that says, Rabbi zidni fika tahayyuran. Rabbi zidni fika tahayyuran. Oh Allah, make me feel more bewildered by You. Zidni fika tahayyuran. Yani let my confusion increase. Why? Because we are limited, right? So the more we try to understand Allah and what He is, the more we get confused. The more you get confused, the more you truly understand His greatness. It's like knowledge. The more you try to seek knowledge, the more you think you know, the more you discover how much you do not know. The more you think you know, the more you discover how much you do not know. So, same thing with Allah Azza wa Jal. The closer you get to Him, the more you try to know Him, the more you get confused. How does Allah Azza wa Jal operate? How does He do this? How can He exist? How is He unlimited in everything? The more you get confused. The more you get confused, the more you actually understand Him. Heck. So, Rabbi zidni fika tahayyuran. طيب. This is the first point of today's lecture. Okay, what the word Allah actually means. It comes from the verb at-ta'alluh, which means confusion, and Allah is the confuser in the sense that I explained earlier. طيب. Part 2. The proof for His existence. And this is something very important, and I know it's going to be a bit hard to follow. Try as much as you can to understand what I'm saying and follow me. Just 3 steps and we're done with the proof. However, it's a bit complicated. Yani you might need to make a cup of tea, sit in your backyard or on your rooftop, gaze into the stars and reflect a lot. From experience, you have to write down the proof, you have to read it 1 time, 2 times, 5 times, 10 times, and reflect a lot on the proof of the existence of Allah Azza wa Jal. And if you do so, if you really internalize the proof, it can change your life. No, it will change your life. Because now, most of us, we just believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, but we do not have proofs. If I ask you, what's the proof for Allah's existence? I'm sure 80% of you don't know. We just say, there must be a creator, and that's why we believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. But once you have a proof, and this is one of the strongest proofs, and it's actually easy, but you just need to write it down and think about it. Once you write it down and you think about it and reflect upon it, then you have a weapon. You have certainty. You know why Allah exists. Not just you believe without proof. Then you have a proof and you need a proof. Every single one needs a proof. If somebody asks you or you ask yourself, or shaitan comes to you, you need to have your weapons ready. Tell him, Lahza, let me take Allah's proof out and show you. I know why I believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. So this proof is very important. It's just built of 3 points. If you take them, if you internalize them, wallahi, tallahi, it will change your life. Okay? So I'm going to start. The first point is pretty easy. Second one is a bit harder. Third one, منشوف شو بيصير. Okay? The first point of this proof is that I exist. Every one of us, yani. I exist. And I know that I am limited. I am limited by time. I am limited by space. I am limited by knowledge. I am limited by power. كل شيء. Or in power. مش مهم. طيب. I know that I exist. And I know that I'm limited. And you all know. And also we don't need to prove that. That's obvious. Okay, we don't need to prove that we're limited to time and space. We don't need to prove that. So the first point, very important, I exist and I am limited by time and space and everything else. Type. Second point, I did not create myself. I did not bring myself to life, which means that something else brought me to life. Something else gave me life. Something else must have created me. Because I did not create myself. I did not give life to myself. Which means that something else gave me life. Okay? Because if somebody wanted to say hypothetically, and I brought myself to life, that means I existed before I existed, which does not make sense. If somebody comes and says, لحظة شوي, what if I brought myself to life? That means you existed before you existed, which does not make sense. But let's say we follow him. Let's say we accept that somehow you created yourself. Somehow you brought yourself to life. Okay? We say, when you brought yourself to life, were you limited? or were you unlimited? If he says, or if I say I was limited, then I ask, who did put these limits on me? Did I limit myself, or did something else put limits on me? Yani it does not make sense. Well, I'm sharing those, so inshallah, when you write everything down, you can reflect upon them. And now, let's say I created myself. Was myself, Abil, was it limited or unlimited? If it was unlimited, how come now I'm limited? Where is my unlimited existence? Does it still exist or no? So it does not make sense. Okay? So the second point is I did not create myself, which means that something else created me. طيب. So we moved on from myself to something else. This something else, is it limited or is it unlimited? If we say it's limited, then everything that I just said applies to that something else too. Because that something else, did it create itself or did somebody else create it? If we say it created itself, same issue that I had previously with myself, right? So it did not create itself. It cannot create itself, which means we have two paths. Either we choose to say that we will follow the path of limitedness and we will always say that I did not create myself, something else created me, and this something else is limited. And then we ask, okay, who did create this something else? Another thing, a third thing. Is that third thing limited to or unlimited? If we keep going with the limitedness, it will not end. It will not stop, which concludes, آخر شيء, that we can never exist. That we never existed. It's like, I know it's a bit hard, I know it's a bit tough to follow, but the consequences are a bit easier, I hope. Yani. Like I said, this is probably one of the hardest ones to follow, but try as much as you can. If we keep following the limited path, that means existence never started. It's like me standing and saying, I will not walk unless the person next to me walks. And that person says, I will not walk until the person next to me walks. And the other one says, I will not walk until the person next to me walks. If everyone says that, then we will never walk. We will never walk. But the fact is that we are walking. The fact is that we exist. That means we cannot go up in the limited ladder and say, khalas, it's always limited. Something limited created us. We have to reach a point where we say that something unlimited started all of this. We have to reach a point where we say that I am limited and everyone else who is limited was created by something that is unlimited. Unlimited in power, unlimited in knowledge, unlimited in life, unlimited in everything. And that something that is unlimited, we call Allah Azza wa Jal. And nobody could have created him. Because people ask, what if somebody created Allah? Then he's not Allah anymore. Then he's limited. So there must be an unlimited existence that always was and always will be that started all of this. And he's not like us. He's not limited to anything. He's not limited by anything. He's unlimited in every aspect. That makes him Allah and makes us his creation. That's something we call Allah. Unlimited in everything. Like I said, I'm sure most of you, if you are interested, you have to take pen and paper or on your phone, write the steps down, sit and reflect multiple times. The proof will be clear, and then it will go away, and then it will be clear again, and then it will go away and not make sense, then it will make sense and not make sense. Until آخر شيء, it will make sense. If you really think about it deeply, it will make sense, and then from the moment it clicks, your life must change. Because now you have a proof that there is an unlimited being in power, in knowledge, in life that started all of this. This is the proof. Okay? Now I want to move on to the consequences that are more relatable, more relevant to your day-to-day life, questions that you have, and it will be more clear, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. طيب The first one's actually a bit hard too. بس يلا الله بيعينكم علي اليوم. The first one. The natural question that arises when we say that Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited is we ask, if Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited the way you described it and there's no limits at all, where is He and where are we? Because we exist. So if Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited, no limitations, where is He and where are we? There's two options you might think. Either we say we are outside of Allah Azza wa Jal, and that's a problem because He will be limited by us, and then it's basically, technically we're saying that Allah exists up until here and then we exist. That's a problem, that's a limitation. And Allah is unlimited. Or we say that we are inside of Allah Azza wa Jal, which is a bigger problem. Because that means that Allah has parts. That means Allah is limited again, because we are limited. Okay? So we cannot say that we are outside of Allah. Neither can we say that we are inside Allah Azza wa Jal. So where are we? We are the connection. We are, like they say in Arabic, Aynur Rabt. We are the connection. If you internalize the proof and you think about this, you will see the world differently because Allah Azza wa Jal is present everywhere. You know how in Dua Kumail we say, Ya man mala'at asma'uhu arkana kulli shay? Kull shay. Allah Azza wa Jal, His manifestations are everywhere. Everywhere. طيب. And when we talk about the shaitan tomorrow, this will be more clear, كمان. طيب. Allah Azza wa Jal, we are not outside of Him, we are not inside of Him, we are the connection. And Imam Ali alayhi salam says this in Nahjul Balagha. Okay, look what he says. He says, describing Allah Azza wa Jal, مع كل شيء لا بمقارنة وغير كل شيء لا بمزايلة. I know none of you understood a thing. That's why I'll say in English. He's saying, He is with everything. He is with everything, but not in physical nearness. He's with everything, but not in physical nearness. And He is different from everything, but not in physical separation. We are manifestations of Allah Azza wa Jal. We are the connection. We are not parts. We are not something that's outside that has independency or dependency, okay? Or independent, sorry. And then we say we are inside or outside. We are Ayn al-Rabat. We are fully dependent. We are poor in our existence. Without Him, we don't have an existence, aslan. Without Him, we cannot exist. So we are manifestations. We are the connection, every one of us. Everything in life is a manifestation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Everything. طيب. This is one of the consequences. If you reflect upon the proof of Allah Azza wa Jal being limited, unlimited, and us being limited, this is one of the consequences that you take. Because you ask naturally, where are we and where is Allah Azza wa Jal? طيب. I believe up till here, the hard part is done. Halla will go to the easier consequences, to the more relatable consequences. And this is an important one because all of us, we're all sinners. So we need to understand Allah's mercy. We need to understand how He is, how He operates, and what makes Him Allah and us His creation. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. طيب. Please follow me closely because this is relevant to all of us and it will solve a lot of problems that we have with each other and with ourselves and with each other. The problem is we commit sins and our mercy is limited. By the way, I used to say when I first started lecturing in English, I used to say merci. Then somebody came and told me, Sheikhna, merci is French, means thank you, right? شو Allah's mercy. And then like هلا عم ظبطها شوي صارت Allah's mercy. So مش الحال. Anyway, our mercy is limited because everything about us is limited, right? We have a limit. So if somebody comes and does a mistake, I can forgive them the first time. I can forgive them 5 times. I can forgive them 10 times. I can forgive them 100 times. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, I will reach a point and I will say, you know what? Stop. I reached my limit. I've had enough of you. Go out of my life. ما بعرف شو, leave me alone. I will not be able to forgive this person anymore. This is how we are. Correct? Because our mercy is limited. But if we take that to Allah Azza wa Jal, what do we do falsely? We sin, we repent, then we sin again. We say, Ya Allah, I don't want to do this sin anymore, and then we do it again, over and over again, until we reach a point where we say, Khalas, Allah has had enough. Allah will not forgive me anymore. You talk on the behalf of Allah Azza wa Jal. He never said this. But we reach a point where we say, I am not good. Allah will not accept me. Allah doesn't love me. Allah doesn't hear me. And Allah will never forgive me. You know that this is one of the greatest sins that we can make? Al-ya's min rawhillah is one of the biggest sins. To have despair in Allah's mercy is one of the biggest sins, is one of the greatest sins. Why? Let me tell you why. We said that Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited in life, in knowledge, in power. So is His mercy. Allah's mercy is unlimited. Inna Allaha yaghfiru dhunuba jami'an. His mercy is unlimited. If you sin, inshallah you sin 1,000,000 times. If you still have the tawfiq afterwards, and this is very important, to sincerely go and repent, sincerely, Allah will forgive you. Don't understand this as an encouragement to go sin. Bil'aks. Because if you sin, eventually you will reach a point where you don't ask for forgiveness anymore. Allah will not give you the tawfiq to ask for forgiveness anymore. طيب. But it doesn't matter how often you sin, if you truly go and you get the tawfiq to sit with Allah Azza wa Jal and to ask Him for forgiveness and to tell Him, Ya Allah, I want to stop this, I want you to forgive me, He will forgive you. Because if not, you are limiting Allah's mercy. Limiting Allah's mercy is limiting His existence. Limiting His existence is kufr, is disbelief. Because you're saying Allah is limited. It's like you saying, you know what, I sinned 1,000 times. Allah has had enough. Allah reached His limit. Allah will not forgive me anymore. This is a sin. This is an even bigger sin than any sin you can commit. When you say Allah's mercy is limited, when you say Allah will not forgive me, you are saying Allah is limited. And this is kufr. You're saying His existence is limited, His attributes are limited, His rahmah is limited. That is kufr. Somebody can still come and say, but you know the Quran says, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِلَّا أَن يُشْرَكَ بِهِ. Right? Accept the shirk. But you know why? You know why Allah doesn't forgive shirk? Not because He doesn't forgive shirk. Because when you are a mushrik, what does that mean? You're putting somebody else next to Allah Azza wa Jal. While you are being a mushrik, you are worshipping that something else. You are asking that something else. You are not asking Allah for forgiveness. You're asking this sanam, this idol. This is why He doesn't forgive you. Because you don't turn towards Him. Because if you turn towards Him, you're not a mushrik anymore. If you turn towards Him through the paths He put, He told you, you know what, I want you to ask me forgiveness through this, through that, ما بعرف شو, through the ways He wants, then He will forgive you. But if you create something with your own hands and you worship it, no, He won't forgive you because you are not asking Him for forgiveness. So, brothers and sisters, no matter how big the sin is, no matter how many times you sinned, if you truly turn towards Allah Azza wa Jal and you are fully aware that His existence is unlimited, that His mercy is unlimited, and you ask for forgiveness, wallahi, He will forgive you and He will love you. He will love you. Inna Allaha yuhibbu at-tawwabin, because His existence is unlimited. Don't limit His rahmah to your understanding or perception. Wrong. This is a wrong understanding of Allah Azza wa Jal. When we think He's limited, He will not forgive me. La, He will. The issue is us. The issue is our understanding. The issue is to get this tawfiq to go and ask for tawbah. This is the hard part. But if you go, if you have this tawfiq to sit, recite dua, come to the mosque, to shed a tear, Allah will forgive you. This is how we should understand Allah. This is how He is. So this is another consequence that we can take from Allah Azza wa Jal being unlimited and us being limited. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Another one that is easily, inshallah, relatable, and I think most of you will understand it, and it will change the way you see this life and this world and everything. It will show you the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal. What does it mean when we say that Allah Azza wa Jal is unlimited and we are limited? What does that mean? It means that Allah Azza wa Jal is not limited by time and by space, correct? What does that mean if we take it further, if we think deeper about this? What does that mean? Allah Azza wa Jal is above time and space. We are limited to time and space. We are living in the year 2024. Allah Azza wa Jal is above time. Why is He above time? Because He cannot be limited by time. And Aslan, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, when he describes Allah Azza wa Jal, look, we have treasures. The Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam gave us treasures in understanding Allah Azza wa Jal. Look what Imam Ali alayhi salam says. He says, Allah cannot be limited by time. Because how can He be limited by that which He has created? He created time. How can He be limited by time? He says in Nahjul Balagha, وَكَيْفَ يَجْرِي عَلَيْهِ مَا هُوَ أَجْرَاهِ كَيْفَ يَجْرِي عَلَيْهِ مَا هُوَ أَجْرَاهِ. How then can the Creator be limited to that which He has created? He created time. So He's not limited by time. He's above time. But take it further. Think about it deeper. When we say Allah is not limited by time, so He's not living with us in our timeline. That means when Allah Azza wa Jal, and Aslan we cannot say the moment or the second. There's no second and Allah Azza wa Jal. But we will not be able to understand this, and I will not be able to word this any differently. So we just take it musamahatan. The moment, this lahza, this whatever you want to call it, Allah Azza wa Jal created Adam, according to Him, everything is done and finished. Yawm al-Qiyamah, Adam, all the prophets. The second He created Adam, everything is finished because He's outside of time. He's not limited by time. He's not walking with us in the timeline. He's above this. So He sees the beginning and the ending. So the same moment He created Adam, the same moment Yawm al-Qiyamah is happening, according to Allah Azza wa Jal. According to us, we are in this year. We are in 2024. But according to Allah, the moment He created Adam, the moment Nabi Musa went, he split the sea. The same moment Nabi Isa cured the blind. The same moment Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi was sent. The same moment Imam al-Hussein stood in Karbala and said, Hal min nasirin yansuruni. The same moment Imam Mahdi reappeared. The same moment everything happened. The same moment Qabr, Hashr, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Everything. According to Allah. Why? He's not limited by time and space. He's above that. This is the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is why we say we will not be able to understand Allah Azza wa Jal. This is how we should see Allah Azza wa Jal. The moment He created us, everything is done. Everything is finished according to Him. Now, according to Allah Azza wa Jal, we are either sitting in hell or in heaven. According to Allah. It's finished. It's done. According to Him, khalas. But now we're living it. It's just like, to make it easier for the younger ones, just like a director who's shot a movie and the movie is done, okay? He knows the beginning and the ending, but now everyone else is watching the movie. They don't know what's going to happen next. But the director knows. Allah Azza wa Jal, He knows the beginning, He knows the ending. Everything happened now. Everything is done now. Now we're either sitting in Jannah, okay? And Jannah is a beautiful thing. Jannah means we'll have a morning coffee مع Imam al-Hassan, have sahra مع Imam al-Hussein, the sisters can enjoy themselves مع Sayyidah Zahra, right? Sayyidah Zainab is coming over. Hak Jannah. So according to Allah Azza wa Jal, everything is done. Everything is finished. Everything happened already according to Him. This means, subhanallah, la ilaha illallah. This is the greatness of Allah Azza wa Jal. When I said Allah can just create creation and repeat it like that, this is Allah. This is how we should see Him. When we say subhanallah, when we are showing disobedience, who are we showing disobedience to? It's done. Khulsit. Everything is easy. Everything is done according to Allah Azza wa Jal. Very important point to think and reflect upon. طيب. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. طيب. The last point that I'm going to mention, I probably need like 10 minutes. Inshallah, I'll be done. The last consequence, very important too, because this is something that people struggle with who get shway deeper into religion, is that, all right, I said that Allah Azza wa Jal, He's unlimited. He's above time and space. According to Him, everything already happened. Does that mean that Allah Azza wa Jal forces us to do things? Do we still have a choice when it comes to our day-to-day life? According to Allah, we're either in hell or in Jannah. According to Allah, it's already done. So do I still have a choice? Wallah, is it just something that's written, khalas, there's no choice? Do I still have a free will or no? Okay, this is something people have, like they ask, khalas, everything is already maktub, right? Your nasib, everything else, your rizq, when you die, everything is already meant to be, khalas, I just live my life. Where is my free will? Where is my choice? Can I change something? This is something I want to explain and to clarify as a last point. طيب. What I want to say is, the answer is pretty short, but I just want to mention a few examples to make the point clear, or as clear as possible. The response is, Allah Azza wa Jal did not force us. If He forced us, if we had no free will, if we had no free willpower, then it would be not just for Him to punish us. If He forced us to do what we're doing, then how can He punish us? That's not the Allah we know. If He tells us, do not sin, but He forced us to sin, how can He punish us? So Allah did not force us. We have a free will. We choose whatever we want to choose. But Allah's unlimited knowledge, and Him being Allah, He knows what we are going to choose. He knows our decisions before we make them. He knows what we are going to do. This is the only difference. But we choose whatever we choose. We have the free will to make any decision that we're making. Allah is not forcing us. Allah is not forcing us. How can we make this clear? I'm going to use 4 examples and then I'll finish off inshallah and we will head to the majlis. The first example, and the examples start, I will say, from the weakest to the strongest, okay? The last one is the strongest one, but all 4 can help you to deliver the idea. The first one is when there's a teacher who has his students and he knows his students very well. He knows who's listening. He knows who's paying attention. He knows who's not listening. He knows who's not coming to class. He can say, before the exam starts, he can say that this student is going to make it and the other one is going to fail. The student cannot claim and say, I'm going to fail because my teacher said I'm going to fail. No. And the other one cannot say, I'm going to do good because my teacher said I'm going to do good. Wrong. The teacher knew, based on his observation, that this one is going to be good and the other one is going to fail. But it's your choice. He knew the result before it happened, just because He knows you well. Now take that to Allah Azza wa Jal and His unlimited knowledge. Allah knows us best. He knows that one day you're going to choose this and then you're going to choose that. So this is one example. Another one. Now we can predict rainfall, earthquakes, right? There's machines for that. So we can know when they are coming. and how strong, and how often, and where exactly, and so on and so forth. No one can come and say, because they said on TV that an earthquake is going to happen, this is the reason, this is the Allah for the earthquake. Or because they said it's going to rain, it's going to rain. No, they just observed earth and sky and everything, and the clouds, and they said it's going to rain on Wednesday. So them saying it's going to rain, Allah saying you're going to be in Jannah or in heaven, or Him knowing that, does not force you. He already knows, because His knowledge is unlimited, just like His mercy, just like His rahmah. So when He says He knows Muhammad El-Chaer is going to be in Jannah or in heaven, in hell, perfect, both options. Ya Jannah, ya heaven. So no loss. طيب. When He says He knows where I'm going to be, that does not mean that He forced me to be there. He just knows it. A third example. Imagine somebody being on a building, very high building, just looking down. Okay? While he's looking down, he sees that there's a car coming full speed. Okay? And then another car is coming from the other direction, full speed as well. He could tell his friend, come, watch, they're going to crash. Okay? And they will crash. Because he sees that full speed plus full speed, different directions, they're going to be at the same point at the same time, they're going to crash. No one can say if they crash, they cannot look up and be like, because this guy said we're going to crash, we did crash. Because this guy knew we were going to crash, we crashed. La. His knowledge, Allah's knowledge of our destiny does not force us to become this destiny. He knows our choice. He knows what we are going to do. He knows that on this day we are going to choose option A, on the next day option B, on the next day option C. His knowledge does not force us. We say He knows, but He does not force us. Akhir example, and I will finish off inshallah, is imagine a big magical maze. A big maze. It has multiple entries, billions of entries, hundreds of thousands of entries. And Allah Azza wa Jal created creation, billions of people. All of them are standing at these gates. And you're free to choose whichever gate you want. You can enter the maze from whichever gate you want. As soon as you enter, Allah Ta'ala knows where you're going to exit, because there's only two exits. There's Jannah and there's Nar. Okay? He knows the second you entered, the second you were born, the second He created you, He already knows you are going to Jannah or you are going to hell. He knows that. Okay? So you start your journey, it's Allah observing, hon you're going to do good, hon you're going to do bad, but آخر شيء it's either this or that. In some cases, هلا في الواحد يقول, alright, so the second I was born it's already meant to be. No. You still have dua, you still have tawbah, you still have reasons for tawfiq, right? It's a magical maze. So even if you were meant to go to Jahannam, let's say, you were on the path of Jahannam because you were born, let's say, a disbeliever, if you come to Islam, a door will close, another will open. It's a magical maze. If your parents pray for you, some doors will close, others will open. Sometimes you have a faster way, faster route to Jannah, and like that. Your deeds, your actions, if you pay sadaqah, if you're aware, if you do good deeds, qada hasht al-mu'min is one of the most important ibadat that we have. If you do that, doors will open, others will close. If you go to kufr and disbelief, you will take the short exit dighri to Jahannam, masalan. Okay? If you do bad deeds, some doors that were open, they will close. The maze is in constant movement, but Allah already knows your final destination. But you choose everything that you choose. It's your responsibility. Elsewise, Allah would be unjust. And Allah Azza wa Jal is not unjust. Okay? So in summary, to finish this up, to wrap this up, now we know what the word Allah means, which is very important. I shared a proof with you, which was a bit hard to follow. So I really request, it takes 2 minutes of your time, maybe 5, just to write it down. Keep it with you in your notes, in your pocket, somewhere. Okay? And reflect about it. Think about it. Okay? When you're taking a shower, drinking a cup of coffee, driving, anything, think about this. Then think about the consequences that I mentioned, because anjad, they will change your life. أقول قولي هذا والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطاهرين.